We continue our tour through the responses to Trump's most recent indictment from those within the right wing. And now we land with Kari Lake, who is another individual similar to how the indictment discusses Trump's lies that he was using to justify all these different actions related to his loss in 2020. Kari Lake didn't create the same conspiracy, the same effort to obstruct the peaceful transition of power as Trump did, but she also has been lying about her election gubernatorially and trying to pretend that she actually won in Arizona. And so maybe she understands Trump's pain better with being a dishonest individual as the two of them are. And she floated an interesting idea for the other GOP candidates as to how they should respond to this indictment of Donald Trump. Take a look at this.
Because President Trump Truth Social this afternoon after the indictments came down. Let's put up the full screen if you don't mind, control room. He said, well, give me the first one first, please, guys. That's the second one. Okay, I hear the deranged Jack Smith, in order to interfere with the presidential election of 2024, will be putting out yet another fake indictment of your favorite president, me, at 5 p.m., which happened almost at 5 p.m. He was right. Why didn't they do this 2.5 years ago? Why did they wait so long? Because they wanted to put it right in the middle of my campaign, prosecutorial misconduct. And then he went on to say, give me that second full screen, folks. Also, why are they putting out another fake indictment the day after crooked Joe Biden scandal, one of the biggest in American history, broke out in the halls of Congress? And
before she responds, we talked about that. Such a hilarious but also dishonest talking point of why are these indictments of Trump coming after big news is broken about the corruption of Biden from House Republicans? Because they're supposedly breaking news about Biden's corruption every day that isn't actually news and isn't actually based on evidence. But yeah, if you create manufactured scandals every day about Joe Biden to distract from your lack of actual policy solutions to actual problems, then eventually when Trump is held accountable legally, it will happen after or right after or during one of your manufactured scandals.
A nation in decline. Kari, final thought.
Absolutely. We are a nation in trouble right now. And I think the people see it very clearly what's going on. And, you know, they can keep doing this to President Trump. I believe his poll numbers will continue to go up. I really believe that those other people running in the Republican race should stand up, speak out in support of President Trump, talk about how this is an injustice unlike we've ever seen with our Department of Justice going after an innocent man.
Sorry, quick pause. This is sort of funny. They had a quote here from Pelosi, and on the lower third, it says, Pelosi, no one is above the law. As if that's almost jabbing Pelosi. Look at what Nancy Pelosi said. No one's above the law. Ugh.
Seen with our Department of Justice going after an innocent man. And frankly, they should suspend their campaigns and step behind and support President Trump and the American people so we can save this great country.
Yep. I think even some liberals might even agree with you. Kari Lake, thank you so much for joining us.
Which liberals? Which liberals agree with that, Eric Bolling? Very strange. So Kari Lake is calling for the other GOP candidates to suspend their campaign and support Donald Trump. And this is another example of how far the GOP has fallen, where it's a prevailing view, sort of, among some within the GOP, that other candidates should just get out and support Trump because he's this big victim and he's the hero, and that should be their way of supporting the MAGA movement or whatever, with Trump leading it, when it would make so much more sense in any reasonable world for Trump to drop out as the person who's been indicted 3 times. Usually that's not good for a campaign. But even though the other candidates aren't going to suspend their campaign in response to this, this idea that Trump's the victim, that he's experiencing the weaponized federal government that's targeting him, and it's not just him being held accountable for his violations of the law, is actually something so many of these GOP candidates are playing into, who are trying to beat Trump in the primary. So it's very strange. And so again, they're not going to suspend their campaign like Kari Lake is suggesting, but the narrative that she's using to justify that recommendation is the one that they're also playing into, as Ron DeSantis put forward here in his response on Twitter. As president, I will end the weaponization of government, replace the FBI director, and ensure a single standard of justice for all Americans. While I've seen reports, I've not read the indictment. You should. I do, though, believe we need to enact reform so that Americans have the right to remove cases from Washington, D.C. to their home districts. Washington, D.C. is a swamp. Really trying to be a little Trump 2.0, and it is unfair to have to stand trial before a jury that is reflective of the swamp mentality. One of the reasons our country is in decline is the politicization of the rule of law. No more excuses. I will end the weaponization of the federal government. So he's saying he wants to be the guy to do it. He wants to be the president, and he wants to end the weaponization of the government. The Republicans haven't made an effective case for existing, at least in the story they tell, where it hurts conservatives and targets Trump and all of that. But in so doing, he's supporting the narrative that Trump's a big victim. If you're bringing up, we got to end the weaponization of the federal government, when you're talking about Trump's indictment, you're saying Trump isn't actually experiencing the justice system as he should, and instead is a victim in some way. So then you're putting forward for your followers a narrative, the people you're trying to win over, that is advantageous to Trump's campaign. You're saying he is the big victim everyone tells you about. He is, in a sense, a hero for standing up against this. And he's just, as Trump always says, being indicted for you, or whatever that means. I mean, that's not the case, but it strengthens Trump's lines, Trump's talking points, and why people like DeSantis and other Republican candidates within this current 2024 presidential primary would play into that. I really don't know. It is very, very strange. So they're not going to take Kari Lake's advice, but they are going to play into that same narrative. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.